here in public health, MUPH, would be to create a culture of mentorship. Okay, and what do I mean by a culture of mentorship? So if you think about, kind of this iceberg analogy, the culture is what's below the water. It's not the what. The what is the observable behaviors. It's your policies and procedures. And those are important in terms of creating a system, a mentoring system. But you want to get to the point, and I think we have gotten there now at my university, where it's part of it's intangible, it's kind of part of the values of the people who are there. And the values are not something, we can have a mission statement that tries to express our values, right? And you probably have a mission statement for MUPH. But really the values are what's inside of us. And what I think we've been able to accomplish with over 15 years, okay, so it doesn't happen overnight, but you have to start somewhere, is that the idea of mentorship is embedded now in the culture of the institution. And so how did we get there? I use the metaphor that you may have when you ask a fish, how is the water? And a fish says, what's water? And that's kind of where you want to get, right? Like, do you have, it's like, is mentoring important? You ask faculty now and they're like, why are you asking me that? It's kind of, that's why I'm here. That's what we do. That's what I'm about. That's where you want to get to, but you have to build the structures and the support in order to get there. And this is what we've done to get there. So these are the components, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit the story of how we built this. The first component is just making sure that, and we focused on more junior faculty, assistant professors, thinking that when in your career is mentorship maybe most important, intensive mentorship that has to be provided by the university. It's when you're a junior faculty member. And for us, junior means the first 6 years of your appointment. So for most faculty, they're assistant professors for 6 to 8 years before they're eligible for promotion to associate professor. It's not automatic, of course. You have to earn it, like everywhere. But in fact, we hire good people, and most of them are successfully promoted. But so I have set up a system, a program, where all 1,200 of our assistant professors, we have about 3,500 faculty total, have a career mentor. If you ask them, who is your career mentor, they can tell you. And that career mentor, in terms of matching, is either assigned by a mentoring facilitator, a senior faculty member in their department, or it's somebody that they already know because they trained at UCSF before they were hired on as faculty. So they may have a pre-existing relationship. And then we say, okay, that's good. We'll make this person your official career mentor. We do emphasize that career mentor should not be your boss. And this is kind of an interesting concept. But so anybody have an idea why I decided to make that a policy? Do you have a thought? Does that make sense to you? Because so I'm a department chair. I love to mentor my faculty. It's why I love my job. And I also have to figure out how to balance the budget, how to make sure we do a lot of teaching, we do a lot of clinical work, and we do a lot of research. The only thing that brings in money, extra money, is the clinical work. The research kind of breaks even, and the teaching costs money. So for me, if I was going to run a department most efficiently, I would have all faculty see patients all the time, because that's what's generating the revenue. But that's not smart. That's not why people join the university. They want to teach. They want to do research. But if a faculty member meets with me and I'm saying, I think maybe next year it's a good idea for you to see more patients. Maybe you should do more clinical work. And maybe I really think that's good for their career. but maybe they think they really want to do more research or more teaching. I want them to have a career mentor they can go to discuss that with. So all junior faculty should have a career mentor who's not their boss. There's something being handed out and I'm not sure what. Name stickers, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and maybe QR codes for some of the material. Okay, all right. So the second thing that we tried to do was increase recognition of mentoring. And we did that in a variety of ways that I'll share with you in a couple of minutes. The third is to try to enhance the competencies, and the fourth is an evaluation. And I think, should we take a 5-minute break? I'm getting an idea that there's a little restlessness in the room. We're going to stop for 5 minutes while you do your names and kind of do what you need to do, and we'll come back at 1:30. Okay? Thank you. Some of the technical stuff. I think it's better now. So let me go through the steps of the kind of creating the mentoring program at UCSF. I will say that it's not going to work to take what we built at a university in the United States and just transfer it here to Thailand. Okay, so the point is not to say this is what you should do. The point is this is what we did. This is a system that is working, and there's probably something that you can learn from that, and you will then have to adapt it to your university here, how academic promotion works, what relationships are like between senior and junior people, and all of that other stuff that's going to help make a mentoring program successful. But here are the components, and this is published this gave me, I don't write a lot of book chapters, but this gave me an opportunity to think about, so what have we done over the last 10 to 15 years to build this program? So I worked with my colleague, Pat O'Sullivan, she's my mentor in educational scholarship, med-ed research. And we wrote this chapter together on developing a culture of mentoring. And so this is explained in more detail in this chapter. And I think I sent the chapter here. If not, I'm happy to share. I have a copy of the chapter. If you'd like it, I'm very happy to send it to you. So you don't have to buy the book. If you'd like to read it in more detail. So at the first step for us, this way. And I love this as a metaphor for a career mentor, because most of us, if you're sitting in this room, there's some level that you have some privilege and some good fortune to be able to pursue this career. And yet you still have to make choices, and that can be difficult. And that career mentor is there to help you decide which path to take. Okay. By the way, they were both beautiful. So, we ultimately want our faculty, our junior faculty, to have a mentoring team, to have a career mentor, maybe also a research or scholarly mentor. So they have to have some scholarship if they're going to be faculty. If they're hired on as full-time researchers, it will be much bigger part. If they're clinician educators, it will be smaller. And then there's this role of the co-mentor, who's another mentor on their team. And then you asked about coaches or advisors or others. They're outside of this core team, but you may have them also. There may be advisors and coaches, sponsors, peer mentors. They're also part of helping faculty be successful, but I don't see them as part of the core mentoring team. And you notice that the mentee's at the center. Okay, they're managing this team. This is not run by the mentor. This is kind of run by the mentee. Even though they're the junior person here, they have to take responsibility for their own lives and careers. We're talking about faculty here. This is not students, where I still think they need to take responsibility, but they need to have a lot more hand-holding along the way. This is the structure. Of course, you create a program, you need an administrative structure. Like all administrative structures, it's kind of boring and probably not relevant to your context. And then we need to develop skills and knowledge. And we do this in a variety of ways. We have a mentoring program toolkit, which I'll show you the website, the URL for that. We have a lunchtime series of Meet the Mentor. We do lectures and retreats. A lot of our departments now have departmental retreats, and they'll spend several hours talking about mentorship now at their retreats. Okay, it's part of our review. We do reviews of department chairs. Part of the department chair's review about whether they're going to keep their jobs or not as chairs is how are they doing to support mentorship at their in their department. Okay. And then we've had a formal program. I'm giving you a little taste of it over the next few days. But we've had a formal mentor training program for more than 10 years. Again, so we have this National Mentoring Month, happens to be January. I discovered that at some point. Congress, there's like 100 things every month where it's National Dry Cleaning Month or whatever, National, whatever, Love Your Public Health Official Month. But this is Mentoring Month, and so we put on activities, and we have senior faculty who make themselves available for short mentoring meetings. And we've provided resources. Here's our website. Here's our toolkit. And then I just threw this in here. I was interviewed for a podcast. For me, when I can't sleep, I listen to a podcast. So if you cannot sleep, you can listen to my podcast on mentorship. Maybe this is part of what's called Curbsiders. It's mostly medical education. So they have a series on med ed and clinical medicine, and they interviewed me for one on mentorship, if you're interested. I think it's freely available. It's free. And then finally, we wanted to increase recognition and rewards of mentoring and evaluate our program. So we created a new campus-wide mentoring award called the Lifetime Achievement and Mentoring Award. Right, and I think from discussions, I don't believe you have any mentoring awards right now at MUPH, or do you? No. So, why would you? It's hard to think about that, but I would encourage you to think about creating some. Do you have teaching awards? Yeah. So you could start by integrating in some language around mentorship into the teaching award if you want. That's one way. You don't have to create a new award, but you can say, part of what the criteria for this award is, or it could be great teaching and or great mentorship to recognize people who put their time in. This is really important, right? If we say we value mentoring, what's one way we show we value it? It's by awarding people for doing it well. So I very early on, I created this very big, very competitive award on campus. And we literally have Nobel Prize winning researchers being nominated for this award. Now, this is not like winning the Nobel Prize. Let's be clear. But it's really, really meaningful for even very successful senior faculty to be recognized by their mentees as having an impact on their career. So this is when I call up every year the faculty member who wins this award, they're literally in tears, men and women. They're in tears because they're so moving for them to be recognized for all their years of providing mentorship. So you can create awards here. Maybe you start with one for the whole school. Maybe you have a few in some departments. I encourage you to think about that. That changes the culture. We also included mentoring in the CV, in the official CV. So as part of advancement promotion, it used to be just teaching. It was your research, your teaching, your clinical work, and your professionalism and your service. So I changed that to teaching and mentoring. And you can't just say it, you have to actually have faculty be able to document it in their official portfolio. Okay, and I'll show you how we did that. So this is from maybe my CV. And so we allow people to write a summary of what they do as a mentor, and then also to say who they've mentored and for how long. So mentor type, mentoring role, and where they are today. When we mentored them way back then, and then now they're a professor. And so I could say, well, I think I had something to do with that, because I mentored them for 15, 20 years. And I get some credit for that, quote unquote, credit in terms of recognition and promotion. The other way we've tried to kind of popularize or raise awareness about mentoring, I did this, send me 6 words about your mentor. This was just fun, right? You have to make this also kind of fun. And these, if you can read, I love some of these. Daily you inspire, please don't retire. That's one. He believes in me unconditionally, wow. She secures my rope, I climb. So these are just lovely, just 6 words of appreciation for people's mentors. And something else you could do, or something like this, again, to raise awareness. This is the winner of the Lifetime Achievement and Mentoring Award. Well, I fly back to the U.S. on Sunday, and on Monday, she's going to get this award. Again, a very high-powered scientist, absolutely so touched that she won this award, Dr. Ingram. She's also been very supportive of women's research careers at UCSF. So partly she's getting the award for her own individual mentorship, partly for changing the culture in terms of support for women in science at the university. And then we've done some evaluation of our program, and we find that actually participating in mentor training actually does improve skills and knowledge and confidence. So that's good. And we did that in part through this, through this pre and post survey. So some of these papers are based on this survey as well. We do have a mentor evaluation tool that we developed, Michi Yukawa and my colleagues. So you can play with this. You can get it. You know, this paper is available for free online. And it's a 13-item that allows the mentee to evaluate their mentor. And it's generic. We developed it in the School of Medicine, but the questions are generic. They're not about things that are just related. So they'd be relevant in a public health setting, public health school. So, and it gives you objective data. Rather than a letter of nomination, you know, this gives you a score in terms of mentoring and provides some feedback for mentors as well. So welcome to play with this. There's not a lot of good tools out there, so we created one. And then when we surveyed faculty again, and you don't have to look at the details, they're much happier. So when you create a program and you support a program and you put some funding and resources behind it, it makes a difference. Faculty are much more satisfied with mentors than they were with formal mentoring program than they were without. Okay, and so we survey every 3 or 4 years. And I was going to take a break now. Do you want another sort of 5 or 10 minute break? And then we'll come back and we'll do something fun. Okay? Yeah, thank you. Sort of use the right side of your brain, right? Not the left side of your brain. I don't know that that's still relevant. I think neuroscientists have decided that's a false dichotomy. But so if you could take out, you should have do you have a blank piece of paper, just a white piece of paper? Yeah. And do you have like, well, you have your own, are there any colored pens around? That way you can really be creative if you want. So as you get out the paper and then pretend you're back in like 2nd grade, maybe 3rd grade. And some of you may be very good artists. So what I want you to do is do a drawing of your ideal mentor or ideal mentoring relationship. Okay? And I'm a terrible artist, so stick figures are okay. If that's what you can do stick figures. But I want you to just think about how to represent what you think is the model or the ideal of a mentoring relationship okay, or the ideal mentor, somebody, the mentor you want to be, the mentor maybe you had, who you're aspiring to be, okay? And then I'll show you some, so just so that you don't get intimidated, these were done by professors from Harvard Medical School, okay? So I bet you can do better than these professors from Harvard Medical School. So you can see the idea, okay, about these were two different ones. Here's a drawing, a path, or whatever. And then I'll show you some. I did this yesterday with faculty from the main campus of Mahidol University. That was far away. And so this is one that was done yesterday. Okay, this is a little more creative than the Harvard folks. This is another one that was done yesterday. Okay, and here's a third one. This one person was clearly an artist. With her ideal mentor was a bear, and it was a bear hug. Okay, so just to give you an idea of the kind of thing, it could be as simple as these. It could be more complicated, the boat on a rocky sea. I'm not sure what this is, but okay. So I don't want you to, so you do your own. You can think for a minute or a couple of minutes about, for you in your mind, what does that ideal mentoring relationship, ideal mentor look like? And then, what's kind of fun is if you can just kind of just turn around and get into groups of 3 or 4. You guys can turn around. You can work together. You guys in the back, maybe you 5 here. And just so after you do your drawing, if you would just share the drawing with your colleagues and discuss kind of what you drew and why you drew it. And then I'll ask for a few brave volunteers to show their drawing and share with the group. And then I think we'll end for today, and I'll come back. Then when we come back on Tuesday, I'll go through a didactic on kind of what I think are the ideal qualities of, what are the qualities of great mentors and mentoring relationships. So we'll do the didactic portion on Tuesday, and just do the drawing and discussion for the next 20 minutes. Okay, have fun. Other questions? How long? Are you going to do like an oil painting or? Yeah, have fun. Have fun. I mean, you can have 10 minutes. You want 10 minutes? About 10 minutes? Okay. All right. But I'll need you to come describe it. Maybe you can be our first volunteer. I love the drawing. You want to come? You want to explain? Why don't we do some sharing? We only have about 10 minutes, and if could you hang on to them, please? So maybe at the end of today, or I'd love to take some, with your permission, take some photographs of them. And then, because you have raised the standard here today, I can see. Okay, and that is totally cool. Okay, we have some real artists here. Okay, I'm totally intimidated by you all. Oh, you're still working on it. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more minutes because it looks like I don't want to squash your creativity. If you're okay to stay over maybe 5 minutes, I'll give you another 5 minutes to finish them up because I see you guys are having fun with it, which is great. Oh, you did it on there. Cool. Let me see. Oh, wow. I love that. Wow, thank you. Wow. That's great that you use that electronic. I love it. And I would say that I've done this now, I don't know, maybe a half dozen times. You guys are the best. These drawings are really fantastic, and it's not just the drawings, or the themes that are coming out are really so beautiful in terms of what to aspire for. So I hope then I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and make sure to talk to if you're lucky to have a mom, you can say Happy Mother's Day to, I will call my mom, still alive. She's 90 years old in America. And usually we already had Mother's Day in May, but I'll tell her it's my second Mother's Day. So make sure to say hi to your mom if you have a mom to say hi to, and have a nice relaxing weekend. And then when we come back next week, we'll continue talking some more about the qualities of outstanding mentors. We'll talk some about successful mentoring relationships and what do they take. And then we'll dive a little bit more into some skill development as well. So thank you for your attention today. Sorry for some of the technical delays earlier. I'm having Mac PC problems, but I think we've solved them. So it should be smooth on Tuesday. So I'll see you all on Tuesday morning next week. And any final thoughts or questions? And please hang on to your drawings, because I really would love to get some images of them for those of you who are willing to share to the world. So, I mean, can either leave them here, and I promise they'll be here on Tuesday when you come back, or if you want to take it home with you, please bring it back on Tuesday. Either way, so we can get some photos. So thank you very much.